So maybe I will introduce myself and a bit of the scope of these interaction design winter talks until more people join us. My name is Joanna. I know some of you already know me, some you don't. So I've been leading the Interaction Design Foundation Lisbon Group for a few years now. And for those who don't know very well, Interaction Design Foundation, it's an online platform of UX courses, so mainly focusing in interaction design. And it has many courses from a more beginner level to a more experienced level, also a lot of literature. And these talks are in partnership with OutSystems, which is a low-code platform. I don't know if you are aware of it, but you can check it out. It's a pretty cool platform. And also with the DIT School of Design, which has its headquarters in Lisbon and in Porto, is also a school with many courses from motion design to UX design. So if you don't know them, please do check them out. They are really great. And they have been partners with the Interaction Design Foundation for almost 4 or 5 years now, I think. And we decided to make these winter talks because now we are in COVID, so we cannot really meet in real life. But still, we feel the need to connect to people that has the same interests as us, to share some knowledge, to get some knowledge. So this is a bit the idea of these talks. Even if you are not part of interaction design, you can also follow us in Facebook. We have a group from Portugal, Lisbon, Porto, from many cities. I'm sure if you are not from Portugal, you will have it in your own country. And this is really meant to be a community for us to share. So don't feel obligated to go into any subscriptions of any kind. We really just want to have a community where we can share our pains and sometimes our doubts with each other. So this is what we are here for. Concerning today's talk, we will have Jeison Valejo speaking to us. The idea is that Jeison will present us with his topic. He will speak around 40 minutes, and then we can have a Q&A session in the end. Now you are all muted just so you don't interrupt them, and I'm sorry for that. But in the end, I will unmute you guys and feel free to make any questions to him. If at some point of his talk you feel like there's a question you really want to make him, please do it in the chat. I'm sure if he has the time, he will answer it then, or he will answer it in the end of the session, okay? Thank you a lot for coming, and thank you a lot, Jeison, for coming. I will let you introduce yourself. I think you will introduce yourself much better. So,
no, thank you, Joanna. Before I introduce myself, it's a huge pleasure to speak to IDF. I love this platform, and I believe that help designers improve their careers. So it's so important. I'd like to say to everyone, thanks for sharing your time and see what I have to say in my beliefs and a lot of mistakes that I've made in my career. For some reason, someone fell asleep, please give your hands and say, I am fall asleep, so let's be more fast or more enthusiastic, because it's not normal for me make this kind of talk is virtually. I love to do that in real life, see what the people are expecting and the faces. I thank you. I don't know if I will say your name is right, but Mafuzavi, for open your cam, and I appreciate. Let me see the Sovik. It's my pleasure to meet you, Rui Bogas. So it's nice, guys. I believe that I can start, Joanna.
when you want, Jeison.
Okay, let me try to share my screen. Let me know if you are doing. Probably I've made some mistake. Let me just see if I.
We are seeing it, Jeison.
Oh, great! But I just I'm just seeing you, Joanna. I'd look to see more faces, but okay, let me start. So first of all, before I introduce myself, I'd like to share this picture. And as a designer that have a seat on the table, at the table, this picture is so important for me. It's a picture that was shared the last week. It's a delivery guy using a Uber Eats backpack, and if you repair in leg, probably he broke his legs in a crash car. So I suppose that he's recovering after a surgery, but he's working. Yeah. And for us as designers, not make a decision is a decision. This is another case. It's a guy from São Paulo, I suppose, that it's a guy with two kids, and happening the same thing. Probably no. He has an accident, a crash car, and he needs to work, but don't have any assistance. I am not being a naive designer. Design is not a philanthropy, but it's important to fit in our ecosystem, and how it can impact the life of people. So after this sad moment, I know I am probably emotional because you are in a pandemic time, so it's so different everything. So, but this kind of happens, and I would like to ask you to keeping these pictures in their minds through this presentation and through this talk. So now, my name is Jeison Valejo. I am Nuno's father. I am from São Paulo, Brazil. I'm living in São Paulo so far. I always like to say that I am Nuno's father because this epic event in my life changed me. Because when I become a father, I start to see the world with the other eyes, and I became a better designer, a better manager designer, more clearly, more honesty. And I'm not saying to do guys to make a baby, it's just an example, it's just a tip, but it's great when you look to inside and see a moment in your life that everything changed. So I believe after my kids is born, I changed everything. So I just like to share with you. And to start, design is a demand. 30 years ago, after IDO, everyone started to think in design thinking. And the things changing so far. The complexity of interaction have been improved along of the years, but design is a demand, but the real it's a business demand, because designing by designing couldn't be sustainable without a business demand in the background. Business leaders now make investments to incorporate design to gain a competitive edge. Since the IDO and finding a competitive edge, it's so clear for the companies how design is important. Don't mean that it's in the right way or it's easy to change the culture or to improve the design methods, the design culture in the company. So my beliefs and my mistake is in this talk. It's to share my experience as a designer. I am a designer that was forged in a visual design background. I was an art director and a visual intellectual, so have I love I am the time of the eye for you flash sites. So I I I was the guy that would like to making a great visual design interaction, and I have been struggle so much with the business partners to improve my business side and understand how the business could be strategy for design. It's easily to sell your design when you understand the business language. So, and in my experience, I see that it's a lack of the design methodologies, design deliverables. There is no connection with the business. So I struggle with that, see, and had a lot of problems to put my design to the next level, to improve and deliver great products. So, oops. The companies understood that making it's different than we expected. So it's an example, the Venn diagram of innovation that is a circle of engineering, design, and business, and the center of that center of this it's the innovation. This is a normal in all companies and a lot of companies that have a product structure and the product concept. Um, but it's not common to understand the real balance that when you need to know about business. Uh, Understanding the impact of designing the business is so important to make it a translating, almost a translate for the executive board, for the C level. I love this event diagram that was translated by a design manager called Anderson Gomez. That how important to design team, to design managing, understand the balance between engineering, business, and the design. And when I am saying about design, I am saying about the ecosystem of people, all people that in some point or some reason are connected with the brand, connected with the product. If you took some of these verticals, for example, engineer, and your company and your product, it's so driving to design and the business, probably the performance of engineers will be poor. You'll be not so fast. It's not tr- so trusty, and this you'll be reflect on the experience. On the other hands, if it's so direct drive to business and engineering, probably the experience and the care of the customers will not to be so good. And again, if the business is left out of this vertical, probably you bankrupt so fast. So because we need to money to financing everything. So understand this balance is so important to design because uh, it's common just looking for one side or one vertical of the ecosystem. Uh, I see this happening all the time with my teams, with my partners, that just look in a silos, just look to a part of the business and the brand. our organization need a competitive advantage. And when you are talking about the competitive advantage, ethics matter. So there is a lot of surveys, a lot of studies that the new customers, the new people are thinking about how the companies and products impact in the ecosystem and the environment, and how this can impact my business. So ethics matter. But if you share this with a C-level board, C-level board, uh, he just take care about that if you prove how this impact the business, you know. So the people are enabling others to the harm. Is they are expecting how the company are impacting the environment. But if you don't have a language to show that, to show them how this impacting the business, probably you'll be in a trouble, because your speech it's not have echo, it's not reach the right audience. So, for example, this is a survey that you can find in Morgan Stanley. It's a great place to make a desk research. So, how almost more than 50% of the customers uh, thinking that ethical credential when selecting which pre-retail shop to buy, it's so important. So here in Brazil, it's so hot. So how does it impact the business? How it's important for the C-level board? I mean, regarding of to reach the next level in your design, we need to focus our speech and a language that the business crew understand what you are saying. And unfortunately, as designers, do need to think now in talking in a language business. It's so boring. It's so sad. I'm sorry to bring this information for you guys. As a designer, I told you I was forged in visual interaction. I wouldn't like to say that. I don't like math, for example, but I am learning about Excel, so spreadsheets. So it's not easy. But as a designer, we need to improve this language. How thinking now and talking. We need to don't make a mistake and anticipate what they would do, and they is executive C-level, etc. So I mean, it's important for us as designer find a way to making right research, translate to a language of business, and show the importance of something to reach another goals in design. You know, many times I arrived in a meeting with C-level and the executive board, and I was prepared in my perspective with great benchmark research made with real customers, a lot of tools and methodology and canvas as empathy math, business canvas model. And when I shared this case with C-level, without all metrics and data, I was I have problem in don't anticipate what they are thinking about. always business are looking to the next point, to the next goal. So it's common for us look to the back and understand the real problem and go deep in the life of journey. But it's also important to see what's happening in the business, in your competitors. So it's just some steps to help. I started to thinking in a business logical. For example, identify the direction, velocity, and intensity of your business partners. It's so important because it's easy to design is not so connected with the timing of the company. I saw many times that the design team is proposing it's proposing something so cool, but it's not in the right time, you know. So it's not easy, but it's necessary to do as a designer. And project the potential intersection. When I am saying about potential intersection, I am saying about the who in your day can help you and can support you, and who in your day can have a problem, bring a problem for you. So who is the high influence stakeholders, managers, product managers in your day by day that can influence positive or negative your product or idea or roadmap, and who is the decision makers. This kind of intersection help you to be more politic, to be more strategic, and making different proposals, you know. So sometimes you have a detractor that is a lot of that is a high influence, and then you need to maybe make a decision, a different decision, and or make a different presentation for him, or make a different methodology to convince them to support you in a big decision, you know. It's always important to look to a big picture, get the big picture of the company, and it's important to influence the decision makers to support you. And why I am saying about that, because it's not common as designer concerned about that. For us, we believe in design. In design we trust, so it's easy to prepare it to all cases or design decisions and show to stakeholder or work together in a squad and agile methodology, and then have a success or not. But in companies and big companies, the agile is not so agile. The squad is not so independent, and is not so empowered. So it's so important, and when I started to use this canvas about the intersections and influence, I could see that my life was easily in a day by day. 1 minute to drink water. And I wanted to be an smart ass. It's not intentional. But these 5 tips it's so important, and I follow this in my day as a manager. And I believe that uh, this kind of tip can use from all designers, because this is happening in your day, in a normal day of life, in a design life. So getting buy-in from business partners, it's important, so important to convince. Doesn't matter how. If you need to pay a drink or take a coffee together, so it's important to bring more people to your side. Designers, almost all designers that I work here, for many reasons, because they don't have time enough, or there is a lot of things to do in a day. It's so hard to calculate the ROI, the return of investment of design. It's always important to do that. There is a not recipe to do this. It's not easy, because there is a lot of parts of the job that uh, uh, it's not just a responsibility just one designer. There's a lot of people involved in this process. But when you can find this number, when you figure out the way to calculate the ROI, I swear, always will help you to maximize your team, to bring more designers for your team, and facilitate your job in a day. This connecting design objectives to business objectives, it's so important. I've lost some designers because the design goals was personal design goals was so different than the business objectives. So this is a little bit frustrating for the designer, not connect with on the design on desires. So it's not easy, but it's important to design a team being connected with the business objectives. Negotiation with non-designers, it's not easy to do that, because we are so good in say and explain about design, but it's not so easy to or non-designers understand what you are saying. So I've been talking with a lot of product managers in my life, and the perception is that the designer is not so clear, or it's easy to designer create a wall between designing and business or non-designers. It's not looks like it's not empathic to explain what is happening in between designers and business. I don't know. I forgot the word, but it's design. It's almost like showing off what they are doing, not say clearly what they are doing. And for me, the big secret is communication, trade-offs, decision, risks, and benefits. Many times, as a manager, I struggle with designers to, in some point, are doing a lot of things. So one designer does not have time to do anything more, because he was over delivering a lot of things. So it's important to design has a vision of trade-off decision. What is good for the business? What is good for the company? What's good for the customers? And how we can you can make in a trade-off. So this is so easy to deploy, and you you bring a lot of benefits to the customer and to the business. And I will say not about this part of the journey, or this is not important for the customer, or not bringing real value to the customer, to the business. So I believe that there is a lack of improvement when you are talking about the trade-off. Many times I needed to go in a meeting or be part of decision just to explain for product managers or executives how you are not doing something and doing another thing, you know. So I believe that this is a knowledge that it's important to design improving in during the time. I learned that the competitor analysis is more than a benchmark. You usually make a lot of benchmarks and look to the points of the journey and where the customers are make some bouncy, and we know better than anyone how our competitors are doing their onboardings. But when you are thinking anticipating moves of business and competitors, we need to go deep and how competitors are looking to the next movement, the next step, the next goal. And when you do something like that, when you are in a business meeting, when you are selling your designing, you are showing that you are prepared, you have a background that can support your design decision and your design making, you know. Sorry. So this information that you are bringing in the back, it's not was it's not expected from the business team, you know. At least in Brazil, at least in São Paulo, we have some kind of some problems about the design just delivery interfaces. I believe that this is happening in other places in the world. So if you just think in interfaces and delivery interfaces, this will be the perception of the C-level and the business managers. If you go deep to competitor analysis and bring a business language for your design, probably the perception will be totally different, and it'll help you to sell your design. C-level language, it's not. I can explain about my design and say about cognitive charge and chunking and how your brain interacts with your interface. When I am front office C-level managers and a business crew, this is not. This is important, but it's not the creme de la creme, you know. So I'd like to thank to Eliezer that showed me this maturity roadmap. I am using this tool in a lot of meetings. This is just an example. And when I started to share this kind of information with the board, with the C-level, they started to understand how you are doing your job and how you can follow what is happening in the company, you know. So it's important for you as designer, find the correct tools that your company and your place that you are working can understand what you are doing and what you are saying and what you are showing. one more, just to drink some water. To help you guys to start to thinking in the business model innovation, I bring some tools that can help you. One of that is the business model innovation framework developed by Oliver Gasman. I'm sorry for the screams. There's a lot of kids run in the backyard. The business model can answer you who are the target customers of your company. Who does your company offer to those customers? Delivering value, creating value, and capturing value. And if you answer these questions above, probably you have some problem, because again, we can make a lot of researches and empathy mapping. But it's important to connect the business language, the business orientation with the design orientation, So I've saw a lot of designers that couldn't answer these questions. I was a designer that I couldn't answer this question right. I had different perception the company, for example. So this Canva, it's useful to organize your thinking about the business model language, for example. This is an example of a business model framework, and it's simple to understand and feel and answer these questions: who, what, how, why. And it's a easy way to start to model or think about this topic. Another tool so important that's helping me, it's to put the business in perspective, trying to find a way to take a big picture of the business, So the ecosystem map is so useful to read this, to guide you with discussions with business party, and to help you to find a right trade-off, for example. Looks like a blueprint, but it's not so detailed. It's easy to share with the business. Again, it's a way to translate design tools for the business language, So this is an example to a company that make preparation taxes. So it's a subject so hard, but you can see the interaction between customers, employers, APIs, and the bank, how these work together in the movement and time. So these two tools can help you to understand the business and at least show you a way to start this conversation, in my personal perspective, my first meeting at the ABC Bank, that my position actually, when I bring it to the board, to the executives, design maturity study that's so deep and so good from the new design frontier by Design Better. and when I show them that companies that has a high design maturity, they value 26 times more. Uh, they, I got the attention of them, because they looked to that and say, oh, something happening when design works. And I could bring it to my side the people that had a bad view about designing, or something like, okay, design is just one step that create interfaces. And when I explain about design maturity, what it was supposed to do and in a design team, and how we can bring more money than we invest in designing, I got this attention. I mean, this is a kind of example that all designers can use to change the game when you are talking about designing the big companies. Uh, Regarding this kind of companies, there is a lot of different companies, different realities of workers when designers are working in this company. So if you need to improve the design filtering in a company, when you have more information to share, and more information to translate to the C level, you'll be useful. I I got great results about that.
Jason, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if it's your micro in your t-shirt, but there's a noise like really, really loud when you speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It's better right now.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a noise that just comes and it makes it a little bit hard to hear you. But now, thank you.
Please, when it's happening, just interrupt me. Don't worry. So sorry. Um, when you talk about the business language, you can realize that business becomes viability when engineering becomes feasibility, and design becomes desirability. I don't know how to say this. And when you shifting these abilities, we are moving away from discussion about the design. So let me
So
so it,
it's because it's here a lot, but I noticed that Zoom sometimes, even if people are muted, we are still hearing the song. We had that in a meeting this week, that somebody was on mute speaking to the husband, and we heard it. So I think it's probably not you and somebody else. So I'm sorry to interrupt you once again.
no, don't worry. Um, and I believe that in the fact that all organization needs more than this: a viable solution, a feasibility solution, and a desirable solution. Uh, this kind of solutions, that is more chance to be adopted by our customers. We have today a lot of data to support us in information, and I in my perspective, I think that sometimes we are not using the data and all information that we can collect with our research process to deliver a great design and in a business language. So I like this quote about designers who speak to partners about disability, adoption, and competitive advantage gain trust faster than those who don't. So it's important to gain trust. This is a work that you can improve in day by day. Understand design, it's a battle about fact and belief. It's common. A lot of stakeholders believe in something, believe in a better interface, believe in what your competitors are doing. So for us, those all backgrounds can help us to deliver a fact, not a belief. So I am almost finished, but I would like to share this guy that I love, and I don't know if you know, but in the Interactive Design Foundation, I had a pleasure to see this presentation. And when Jacob Nielsen bring sustainable development for all designers, I believe that it is important for our community. And do you need to bring and improve business language? But always rely on your design skills. I'm not saying to not anymore saying about design, say how important it's a story that you are delivering for our customers or for our people, and how a chunky could be a problem in an interface, how the colors can impact it, how accessibility is important for our experience, how the information architecture is important, or the content or the UX writer, the writer that you are doing in our interface. So I ask you rely on your design skill, but trying to put some of business language in your deliverables, and make this test, try this, and check if you have a more success. I'm sorry, in this journey. Say no with property. I know a lot of designers that it's I I I I was a kind of designer that always say yes. Let's do this. Let's try this. So it's not the right way. It's important to say no and focus on what is important. A designer that always say yes, probably you'll be tired, you'll be unfocused, and with it problem to in other aspects. Um, Again, I am showing this picture. Maybe if you want to, as a designer, help people's life better, I believe it's possible. I believe that we can use your knowledge and put a little bit of business language to show to C-level and business crew that it's possible help people lives better. I don't know if this example is our responsibility, but I choose the things that yes our responsibility in some level, and we can change the laws to approve the new rules to the central bank, for example. Why not to help the people's have more lives? I know that in different places is a different reality, but yeah, I'm sure that the biggest part of the citizens that a lot of problems about the policy. Uh, Again, I felt it was my responsibility to make it work, and that these books that helped me to improve my business language. This is recently books that I've read. I like to say that history it is one of the best books that I read, so it's very cool. And remember, shit happens. If you can be prepared, you have a lot of background information, but always shit happens. So deal with that. This week, for example, I've lost my presentation 2 times because the drive was withdrawn. So we need to improvise it and find a way to make the things work. That is it. I can share this presentation for we can. So let's be in touch. This is a great QR code if you'd like to connect to me on LinkedIn. And I am a little bit tired and looks like I'm running for 10 miles right now because it's so warm right now. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Jason. I'm sorry I sent to the chat to everybody, but I felt like when you were holding your micro, it was less noise, but I'm not sure it was you or not. So
Don't
thank you
worry.
for that, Jason. I think you actually put out in your presentation a lot of things that I believe that happen. There's a great disconnection, I believe, between design language and business language, and sometimes also with developers language that we should adjust depending on the audience we are reaching. And it's definitely a very, very important point. But rather than me talking, I would ask people if you want to make questions to Jason, go ahead. You have in your participants, you have this little window that you can say yes. So if you want to speak, just click on the yes and I will unmute you. So you will be able to do by your own your questions that you want to Jason. And please don't be shy. Again, this is supposed to be a place where we can discuss
It's
everything.
a safe place.
Yeah, but I think you did a very good point in that, and also the fact when you talk about knowing who are the key persons. I was this year in a presentation by Nielsen and Norman Group, and actually they talk about that, the fact that it's a bit like Insta. If you see this guy as an influencer, maybe you just have to give your idea to this guy and he will disseminate it for you and make things happen. So sometimes we don't have to think we are the ones who have to make it happen, because we don't have the time or the ability all the time for that. But identifying strategically who are the people who can actually make things go forward is an extremely important point. I totally agree with you in that.
No, and this is work, In my experience, when you share the right information and get partners to do your job, share what the evolution of the work. It's always support you and you help. I don't believe in design black box, that you are working alone and some sometime you show something great. I believe that it's in a co-creation and share what is happening and getting different feedback and improving day by day.
Definitely. I had some people that probably were thinking they were sending to the group, so they made the inverse of me. I wanted to send a message only for you, and I sent to everybody. So I had Penso here saying, "Great stuff, Jason. See you soon." And he's asking if he could get your presentation, that it would be very helpful.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand the last one.
Suvik is asking if he can get your
Oh,
presentation, and
for
that,
sure, for sure. I can share with you, Joanna, and probably you share with all the group.
yeah. Guys, if you want, just tell me, and I will unmute you so you can speak.
You can use the call theory and unmute everyone, everybody unmute.
I
So
didn't want to do that so we don't become Babel, but I think I will do it. I will ask people to unmute so they will be able to unmute themselves if they want. Hello, Desi.
Hi everyone, can you hear me? Sorry,
O mesmo?
I'll just switch my camera now.
O mesmo alinhamento?
um,
Não causou estranhamento lá em vocês?
sorry, I'm not sure if anyone else is talking at the moment.
I don't think so. I think you can go, Desi.
Yeah, so yeah, first of all, Jason, thank you so much. I think you made some great points there, and I cannot agree more that actually trying to align with business goals and be a bit more involved into what's happening and not just developing features and working on interfaces is really important to bring design closer to the business and put us in a position where we can actually make decisions on a higher level. And before that, we kind of touched upon on saying that it's really good that we identify who are the influencers or the key decision makers, and we try to talk to them and we share ideas. But at the same time, sometimes what I see is that, as a manager, you can try to speak to those influencers, kind of build relationships with them, and this kind of stays on the top level. But if this actually doesn't trickle down towards the engineers or the designers that are working on the project itself, things don't work out as smoothly as they would if there was a better collaboration between, let's say, product managers, engineers, and the designers who are already into a sprint or if they're following agile methodology. So I was just wondering if you have any tips or specific ways that you help to improve this collaboration between designers and engineers that are working on a project and product managers. Is there anything specific that you implement in the workflow that you change so people don't just work in silos, but they actually work in a more collaborative way to bring this point of innovation closer to what they're doing?
Oh, I thank you for your feedback and your question. It's not easy. I believe that it's for this reason we needed to improve our design chapter and share the knowledge in other levels. Um, my talk was about how has there is a lack between the design language and the C level. Although it's easy to see this happening with the developers, for example, and engineers. But I believe that there is another tools as inside the research, inside the methodologies to put everyone in the same page. So, but this is a construction that needs to patience and building a bridge between these levels. And I saw different methodologies working in different companies. For example, when you have different squads working in a product, if you have design team working separately from the in another place than developers, so there's a lot of different things to do regarding this. In my case, in ABC Bank, you are inside of technology team. This is in my life, it's my first time that in the same vertical you are working together developers. So it's easily to start to share our knowledge and my partner business is a manager of the developers, So I believe that it's easy to share knowledge when you are close, but it depends of the size of company, and it's important to invest in your design chapter and the design guides to keep all designers saying the same language, because there is a lot of challenges. The first one is, okay, I need to translate a business language to understand the business language, bring a business language to a design side, and then start to share the design methodologies and the design beliefs to all the crew. So after this, you can create a protocol of designers to say the same language, because when a designer says something totally different of the other designer, this is terrible for the team, So my first tip is, okay, the design team need to not think, but has the same protocol, and then start to share this information with as buzzwords. So I started to bring it to my side when it's more close, and then start to scalable the information and design. For this reason, I believe in design, scalable design, because you share the information in a good way, I don't know if I was clear and if I answered your question.
No, yeah, I think that was perfect. And I think it makes a lot of sense that first we actually need to align the designers in the way we communicate and the way we speak, so we can actually scale this later on and share it in a consistent way with the rest of the non-designers that we want to communicate. So yeah, that's really helpful.
And that we need to put in the same page that is different level of designers, so with different backgrounds. So it's important to a design team make sure how the designers are putting the same level, or not same level, but the same skills, and have the same speech, I cannot say that about Chunky and another designer say about Chunky in different way, because Chunky is about the cognitive psychology. So this is happening when you working in a team with more than 20 designers, for example, with different managers. So there's company here in Brazil, like banks, that has more than 100 designers who work together. So to put this in the same page, it's a hard work to do,
It's like establishing a practice
Best
in
practices.
life. Yeah.
The best practices and the protocol, because it's sometimes one simple question from the a stakeholder can finish off the work, put all the accountability in check. So it's terrible when something like that happens. I have problem in my career with numbers of when you are using data, and in my background, I work in a financial market for 5 years. So if you put a wrong number in the front of the stakeholder, you're lost,
Yeah, thank you so much for the answer. That was really helpful.
No, thank you, Des. I appreciate it. I
don't know.
think
Somebody else wanted to say something. We have Daniel, who is rejoining us. So he left a while ago and he's trying to join us back. But yeah.
So, Vicky.
Huh?
So,
Sorry?
Vicky. I believe that Sovik it's
yeah. Can you unmute yourself, Suvik? Yes. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Joe. And I'm sorry that I'll not be able to turn on my camera because it's 2 a.m. here in India, and yeah, and my son is sleeping just beside me.
Sure.
But yes, it is really nice presentation, Jason. So, but my question is that, as Joe is also mentioned, that it is a kind of best practices we need to follow, and the presentation you showed that it is a good practice for any product company whenever we are designing any product. So my question is that how we can implement this in any service based company. Like I am from a service based company, and uh, I normally work with a lot of clients globally from different parts of the world, and they come to us with different requisition, with different products. So how we can implement this methodology, this process, to serve them better?
No, thanks, Sovik. It's a good question, and it's not easy to answer because it's not easy to do that regarding a service design or product design. To all always when we are trying to creating best practices, this is it's not easy work and I need to a lot of dedication and trying a lot of things. Usually, I always trying to identify the common points, so you can do that, putting part of the design team together, or create some dynamics to find this information. What is common for everyone, and what is the trouble that you have as a team. You can start small and then is feed this information, checking and trying to put in practice so fast. It's important to bring feedbacks. I believe that all best practices need to be I forgot the name, the word, but uh, everyone needs to be comfortable with this best practices, or be convinced to adopting these best practices. It's not easy. Sometimes we need to struggle with this and put this information the hardest. But I believe that if you building this and creating this best practice with your team, there is more chance it should be working. And for me, this kind of situation, it's always better. They always improving and they always learning. It's our normal life, improving and check if it is working. So that is unfortunately or uh, could be good, but for us, I don't believe in recipes. I believe that you need to find the best way. Read some books about the best practices. Uh, there is a lot of best practices that can work for you in a marketing, but for me don't work. Uh, so um, depends on the maturity of design of the company, the maturity of the market company. For example, when not long time ago, I've made in a company the first usability test, the first heuristic analysis, and that was the best way to show for the C-level, for example, that one strategy and one journey was so strategic that it was not working. It's a easy and a cheapy methodology that you can do usability testing, but the risky analysis is easy to do. It's not something like common for us today. So okay, we stopped three designers to making a risk analysis, but sometimes can work. So it's important to look inside. And if you are to be practice, I started with some best practices that can be common for a large team, and start with small and improve this with the time. I don't know if I answer your question, but I believe that can help you.
Yeah, definitely, Jason. Actually, my main concern is that in this particular business, the influencer is getting change. The, the influencer is getting changes continuously. Every time that, suppose I allocate a designer to work with one client, and after finishing that product, I need to allocate that designer to a different client. And then the concept, the influences, the taste, everything will change based on that. So that is the thing. I was just thinking that how we can inline our designer with different demands continuously, because in product we can inline, we can work together, we can work with the product designer along with the product owner, uh, and we can continuously implement the new changes and the new things what we need based on our study, based on our analysis. But for service industry, it is the scenario is completely different.
No, I believe in that, and as I told you, it's not easy, and I believe if you are working in a outsourcing format, I believe that it could be great to have another level, not hierarchy, but in a level to share this culture with the designers or the companies that are hiring this way to work with outsourcing, because as you told me, there is a different cultures of designing in different companies, and that the change is so fast that the perception of design that I am working in just a part of the, the service, So this is a hard to follow, and it's almost when the designer just delivers something. It's not the part, but it's delivering something smallest that the real problem and the real job, in my perspective.
If I may comment, I work like service design for a few years, and I thought it was very common. Like there are many different types of client. I think Suvik, you must. I think your struggle it's a bit this. So we had this kind of clients that they had their vision and their goals pretty well aligned, and what they wanted, and it was kind of easy to communicate with them and to get alignment in the direction we should go. We had clients that I remember asking, okay, so what are your main goals? What are your metrics? Like trying to speak their language and see what they wanted, and they didn't have metrics. They didn't have a concrete goal, and it's very hard to work with that. And for those clients, I think the best approach is, okay, then let's focus on having a goal, yeah, and having a vision of where you want to go. And then you have some guys that they have the vision, they have their goals, but for example, they don't have a designer. They have developers and they say, okay, I want to do this and this and this, and the developers put it together and it works and they have a product, but has a really terrible experience. And for these ones, for example, the suggestion that Jason gave, I think it's brilliant, like do an heuristic evaluation, like pinpoint, okay, this has this problem and could be solved this and this way, and it would improve the user experience in this way. So I think for each one of them, in my perspective, and it's my perspective, I'm not saying here like this is the way, but I kind of think that having a broader type of services that you can analyze the clients and position them and see, okay, these clients, this is what they need. And maybe when we do this service, then we can move and tell him, hey, we have another service for you to go on developing yourself. In my perspective, that generally works better. And for example, the companies we did an heuristic evaluation, after that they would buy a concept. That would be because sometimes we give the heuristic evaluation and we give examples of how that screen could be, and they loved it and they were okay, just design this for us. Others, it's like I said, like sometimes they need more a business guy and a designer working together and helping them find what their vision is. I don't know if this makes sense to you, but it's kind of a little bit of what I believe. But it's not an easy task, Suvik.
No, I totally agree with you, Joanna. And that is when we put in a perspective with the maturity of designing in a company, you can easily okay, show for the executives or for the customer that, okay, we are in this point. That is a thing that it's important to share, that for you across I2E, you need to look to the both sides. So it's important to realize how is this maturity, and improve this with the time. You know, it's hardest when you arrive in a place and bring together a reality shock. You know, so I needed to change everything. It's hard. It's not easy. It's pain. So it's important to make this kind of analysis. The book is Design Better, Maturity Design, the report, it's great to put this in perspective. It was a survey that with more than 2,000 clients in different sides. So I believe that I'll be great in this. Hi Faris, how are you, my friend? Daniel Rizzi, Bianca, Rafael Rosenheim, Grisili. There's a lot of friends here. So, Vic, that's it. Are you satisfied or not? Okay, this is terrible. I don't believe in that.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's really helpful the way you describe, and Joe also mentioned the same thing. So it is really helpful for me, at least to implement something into my company. Actually, I'm heading the whole development team in my company. So that is the thing. I need to understand these kind of things and how we can improve our services to all the clients whom we are servicing, from different industries. And at the same time, we also need to understand the nitty-gritty and the requirement of different industry. So it's really helpful.
No, don't worry, and let's be in touch. If you want to send me a mail or connect with LinkedIn, we can talk more about that.
Absolutely.
You are both in my LinkedIn, so I think it's going to be very easy for you.
Perfect.
To reach each other. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. I'm in touch with Joe for a long time, Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvie. And hello, Rafael and Danielle. Danielle, do you want to speak? No?
No, I was just greeting Jeison. How are you doing, man?
Very well, man. And you? I love
working hard. Awesome talk. I had to leave for I had a quick interaction with my team, and then had to come back. And I missed, I think, half of the talk, but it was pretty good anyway.
It's in record, Danielle, so you can hear it afterwards if you want.
I'm sorry?
It's been recorded, so you can see it afterwards if you want. The you missed, so don't worry.
Okay, thanks a
Thank
lot.
you for rejoining us. Guys, I don't know you want to make more questions to Jeison. Jeison, if you want to add something.
Oh, just to, again, was a pleasure to be here. Was it's always good to talk about design. This time it's perfect because after COVID, I believe that you have a different way to live and to create experiences. You know, I know that it's not being easily for anyone. So I hope that you be safe and protect yourself. And I hope that the next meeting be in Lisbon or doesn't matter where, but not virtually, you know.
I think before we meet, probably we will still meet online, but I hope that the in-presence meeting will come soon.
For sure, for sure. So I'd like again that say thanks for everyone for the time.
Thank you, Jeison. Really, thank you for providing us your time. And I know that it's been a rough month for you. So thank you a lot for saving us a
It
little.
happens. But thank you.
Really, and thank you all for coming. We will have another winter talk on the 7th of January. So if you want to join us, we are going to have Manuel Pimenta talking about gamification one-on-one. So he's like a guru of gamification. He's a very knowledgeable guy in this. So feel free to join us. And once more, a really, really big thank you, Jeison. I'm sure you can all find each other through LinkedIn and through Facebook. And I hope to see you again very soon, all of you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.